This broadcast of ICC Athletics is being brought to you by Renaissance Bank, Little Caesars, Davis Ford, the Sonic of Fulton, Tupelo Coca-Cola Bottling Works, the Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi, First American National Bank, the ICC BSU, your Itawamba County Farm Bureau agent, Joey Cox, Cagle Eye Center, the ICC Foundation, the Bank of Okolona, and the ICC Alumni Association.
First American National Bank is a local bank. Our 10 locations are right here in Northeast Mississippi. Banking decisions are made locally by people who live here. It's been that way for more than 50 years. Our involvement in the community is important to us. That's where our roots are. Technology, it changes daily, but our community is what keeps us together. If you like high-tech banking, we've got that too. Follow the flag to First American National Bank, from Iuka to Tupelo.
Davis Ford in Fulton is your Ford dealer for new cars, trucks, and SUVs and has a wide inventory of certified pre-owned vehicles. Find your next dream car or truck from our Ford showroom or go online to davisfordsales.com and search our new and used inventory to see what is on our lot. So stop by and test drive the all-new fuel-efficient Ford Focus or Ford Fusion or the new Ford Explorer or F-150. Go further with Davis Ford, 904 West Main Street in Fulton or online davisfordsales.com.
My burger goes best with mustard.
Ketchup and mustard.
Grass-fed beef.
No, corn-fed.
On the grill.
Now, flat top.
Iceberg lettuce.
Nah, arugula. Jalapeno.
No way. Avocado, dude.
Medium rare. Gotta be well done.
Brioche.
Sesame seed.
American cheese.
Cheddar.
Can I have a turkey burger? What? Turkeys are for Thanksgiving, man. I like my burger with the Coke.
I'll agree to that.
Strictly with a Coke.
Only with the Coke.
Coke and a burger. Come on.
All right.
That's where you get the flavor.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, as we're getting set for today's matchup between ICC and Gulf Coast. We're going to take you down to the pitch for today's Coca-Cola starting lineups.
Welcome to today's quarterfinal match between Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College and your Itawamba Indians. Now I will introduce the starting lineup for the Bulldogs of Mississippi Gulf Coast. Number 1, Isaiah Gore, freshman. Number 4, Dion Travis, freshman. Number 5, Luke Mills, sophomore. Number 6, Chad Hudson, freshman. Number 7, Francisco Thomas, sophomore. Number 8, Christian Inchima, freshman. Number 9, Brandon Marquez, freshman. Number 10, James Redmond, freshman. Number 13, Mitchell Russell, freshman. Number 14, Griffin Bush, sophomore. Number 18, Chad McKnight, freshman.
And now to introduce your 2019 Itawamba Community College men's soccer team. At goalkeeper, number 0, Alex Box. At midfielder, number 2, Irvin Rodriguez. At defender, number 4, Braden Helms. At defender, number 9, Josh White. At striker, number 10, Clayton O'Daniel. At midfielder, number 11, Carson O'Daniel. At midfielder, number 14, Carter Chandler. At defender, number 15, David Marquez. At midfielder, number 17, Diego Trujillo. At midfielder, number 20, Lando Nichols. At defender, number 25, Caden Mitchell.
Now I would ask you to please stand for the playing of the national anthem.
Ford in Fulton is your Ford dealer for new cars, trucks, and SUVs and has a wide inventory of certified pre-owned vehicles. Find your next dream car or truck from our Ford showroom or go online to davisfordsales.com and search our new and used inventory to see what is on our lot. So stop by and test drive the all-new fuel-efficient Ford Focus or Ford Fusion or the new Ford Explorer or F-150. Go further with Davis Ford, 904 West Main Street in Fulton or online davisfordsales.com.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to today's MACJC quarterfinal matchup between your 10-4 ICC Indians and 11-6 Gulf Coast Bulldogs here. The winner of this game goes on to the semifinal round at Hines. The loser, well, that's the end of your season. So a big-time matchup here between both these teams this afternoon in Fulton. I'm Adam Gore. Joining in the ICC Alumni Affairs and Foundation broadcast booth is CJ Adams, Rafael Henry up top running the camera, Lee Adams on the sideline running Twitter and taking photos for today's game. You can see those photos at iccImages.com. And CJ, big matchup here, ICC in the all-red kits, and looks like Gulf Coast is in the blue and black kits. Just talk about the early mindset of this game right here. Of course, a lot of nerves are going to be in the factor here for both these teams, knowing their season's on the line.
Yeah, like you said, it's win or go home from this point out. And I think key to the game, O'Daniel, he's got to stay hot. You know, the hat trick last game, 2 assists the game before that. So just ride the hot hand, and maybe he can strike early for us.
So the First American National Bank opening kick, the toss was won by Gulf Coast, and they quickly turned it over. Now, the last time these two teams met was all the way back to September the 14th. And Gulf Coast came away with a 3-1 win, and that snapped a 5-game winning streak for the Indians. So ICC would love to find a way to avenge that, and that match was here in Fulton, by the way. So grab an ice-cold Coca-Cola, sit back, and enjoy the afternoon here. A little bit reverse situation today. We usually see the women play first and the men second. Well, ICC, they had sophomore day to start the contest. And the Lady Indians, they'll also face Gulf Coast, but that one will be coming your way at 2:30. Well, CJ, you're going to see a lot of different brand of soccer today. You're going to see teams value possession a lot more than they normally do. As the ball turned over now, and Gulf Coast is going to send this one out of bounds. So, you know, you being an avid soccer fan, went up to watch Memphis play last weekend, just sort of talk about just the concentration and the value in the ball a bit more than normal.
Well, yeah, anytime you got possession of the ball, good things usually happen. You don't want to be playing back on your heels, defending the whole game. You want to have that aggressive strike-first mentality and get you a goal, go from there.
So the throw in here, and it's going to go to O'Daniel in the middle of the pitch. ICC is going to reverse it on the far side. That's going to be Marquez with it now. He tries to squeeze it forward. Kicked away by Gulf Coast, and they'll take it back there on the far side of the pitch. Gulf Coast, their numbers are on the back of the jerseys, so you can read them pretty well, but don't have any markings on the front of the jersey, so we'll try to get you those names the best as possible throughout the contest. We do want to welcome those that are watching in support of the Bulldogs this afternoon. Don Hammock, the SID down there at Gulf Coast, doing a great job. Had his hands full yesterday with the Gulf Coast Fall Invitational. And we appreciate Don and all his help down there. Was able to get some photos back from that event. Well, we're going to return serve for Don today and try to get him some photos from today's matches here this afternoon. This ball sent forward, but blocked up nicely that time by Helms. And it's going to force Gulf Coast now to reset. Now they try to go inside, clear it out nicely that time by the Indians, but Gulf Coast should be able to keep possession of it now here on the right side of the pitch. Going to simply back this one back out to Russell, and he's going to reset the attack. Russell trying to squeeze this one inside. The header is going to be sent out wide, and it should be easily controlled by ICC. Yes, it will be. That's Diego Trujillo, and he just simply lets it roll out of bounds. It'll be a goal kick coming up here. Beautiful day for soccer. If you're watching on campus right now, we encourage you to come out. The weather was a little bit cool this morning, but has creeped up into the mid-60s, maybe a little bit of the upper 60s here. We're in the shade, but it's not bad. You get out there in the sun and can find a pretty good spot here. Now, for those that are non-ICC students, it is a $5 entry fee since it is a playoff game. So do have that money ready there. But if you're an ICC student, faculty, or staff member, you can get in free. Now here come the Indians on the attack. This is Clayton O'Daniel, the reigning MACJC Player of the Week, trying to go forward, and he is tackled. And that'll be a foul there on Gulf Coast, and it'll be a free kick coming up here. Dangerous situation here for Gulf Coast, as this is a pretty good spot for the Indians.
Yeah, not a bad foul, though. you definitely don't want to get him in free space and let him have a chance at the goal. So I agree with that foul there.
So it'll be I believe this is going to be Marquez. Yes, this is going to be David Marquez, the freshman out of Spain, to take this kick here. Indians trying to get everything set as Gulf Coast and ICC not really getting tangled up, but just a lot of jockeying for position inside the box. Now they're going to go short with it, trying to find Rodriguez, and just in a little bit too far, and
corner.
They're going to call it a corner kick here. Well, I thought at first they were going to call Rodriguez with a push.
Easily could have right there.
So a big-time break for the Indians as now they'll get this corner opportunity here for ICC, and it'll be Rodriguez to take the corner kick. He's going to send this one to the top of the box. Trying to let it settle. Fires left-footed and just wide.
Not a bad strike there. Had some open space. They were a little slow getting to him at the top of the box. So
take a look at that on the Little Caesars instant replay, and pretty good solid footing at that time. Just couldn't put it on frame. And Neal is the score. There's 40 minutes and 22 seconds to play here until halftime. We invite you to stay tuned for the Little Caesars halftime report. We'll also take a look back at the ICC All-American Band performance from earlier this season during football season, the American version of football, as O'Daniel takes this one away. Now he's going to try to send it out wide. Nearly turns it over. Good hustle that time on the part of Nichols to get it back and keep it for the Indians, but then eventually just lost it out of bounds. Good hustle, just a tough break there.
Just ran out of real estate.
So now Gulf Coast quickly throws this one in, looking ahead down the pitch, and it's going to be sent out of bounds. And I believe it should go back to ICC. Yes, it will. Well, as we imagine, we'll see some more fans start to trickle into the area today. A 12:30 start, trying to start a little bit earlier than normal just to make sure in case these matches, who now, by the way, and I said it at lunch, so I already jinxed this one time, CJ. I'm going to say it again. If it does go to double overtime, extends through that, we will have PKs in the playoffs. We saw that between Jones and East Central's women last night, and Jones was able to come away with the win there to advance to the semifinals. Now here comes ICC with an on the attack, working right to left on your computer screen, television screen, for those that might be watching on your Roku or Fire Stick. Now here comes ICC. Oh, just a bad angle on the send that time, and Gulf Coast going to try to go over the top of it. Good idea. Helms is going to have to sprint out there to the far side. ICC has numbers defensively. Gulf Coast trying to trail back in a hurry here. Now here comes the Bulldogs. Looking to go inside, and a nice job that time. That was Caden Mitchell coming up and making the stop. Nice back heel touch. Now here come the Indians. O'Daniel with it. They got two guys back waiting for O'Daniel. Now O'Daniel trying to go on the attack on the right side. Trying to go ahead, still fighting for the ball. Tries to pop this one forward. It's going to be sent up and saved, and then set out on the side. So it'll be ICC ball throw-in with 38-27.
It's a good play by that defender. Keep that from going out for a corner. Heads-up play, just kick it out of bounds for a throw.
So Marquez will get set to throw this one in for the Indians. Goes short with it. ICC's going to pop it back up. Good, quick, smothering defense by Gulf Coast to force them to nearly turn it over. Now ICC gets it back. This ball popped way in the air, and the keeper's going to come out and make the play outside the box to keep it from going out of bounds and resulting in a corner opportunity for the Indians. Neal is your score. 37:55 to go here in the first half. Adam Gore, CJ Adams here in the ICC Alumni Affairs and Foundation broadcast booth. If you'd like to find out how you can contribute to Itawamba Community College, visit iccms.edu/foundation. So the turnover gives the ball back to ICC, but Gulf Coast is there to take it away once again. Anything you can do, I can do better on that possession. Now Nichols has it, lost it. Gulf Coast gets it back again. Bulldogs with it. They sneak that one through some traffic and able to keep possession of it now. Get in the middle of the pitch, now looking ahead, trying to go over the top on the right side. Ball takes a friendly Gulf Coast bounce, but a good job there by Josh White to get back and force the offense out and reset. Good defense that time, CJ, by the Indians to force the ball all the way back to midfield.
Yeah, so far they're collapsing on the ball and really not allowing Gulf Coast to make too many runs here.
Ball going forward, and that's going to be a foul on ICC. Just a touch foul there, but a good job by Thomas to draw the whistle and set up a free kick here.
Yeah, I believe he was going down regardless of that touch.
Yeah, that's going to be one thing we have to keep an eye on today. It's going to be footing on the pitch. We got a lot of rain. It's kind of slick out there, and the referee comes and gets in the face of Irvin Rodriguez after that, and You know, we talked about that in the last match, and I'll address it again here today. But, you know, if you're going to call the foul, don't come get in the face of an 18, 19-year-old and then expect them not to say anything back. You just got to let the guys play it out here, especially with it being a playoff match.
Yeah, emotions are running high. Everybody's going to be a little more vocal today than normal.
Sneak it to the backside, and a big-time break there for the Indians.
Yeah, that was a great chance right there for Gulf Coast. Just sent a little high.
Take a look back at that on the Little Caesars instant replay. Beautiful sin that time, and ICC just lost the guy on the backside and just sent it too high. And a tough break there for the Bulldogs. CJ, you don't get those many good-looking opportunities throughout the contest.
No, you need to capitalize on those opportunities when given the chance.
And there's going to be a tripping foul call there on O'Daniel. Nothing intentional, but it did give him the advantage to get on the ball. So good call by the referee to stop that one in action. So 0-0 is the situation. There's 35-32 left until halftime. Both teams with a shot. Neither one of them on frame so far. But both teams have had some opportunities early. Gulf Coast with it now, looking to go on the attack, working left to right on your computer screen. For those that are watching here on Let'sGoICCTV.com, we do appreciate you tuning in, or invite you to stay tuned at 2:30 for the women's match. It'll be the quarterfinals match, also once again between ICC and Gulf Coast. Wow, somehow that ball decided to stay in bounds. Now Nichols sends it ahead, but broken up nicely that time by Gulf Coast. I tell you what, CJ, Clayton O'Daniel drawing a lot of attention by that back line of Gulf Coast.
Yeah, definitely got their attention. We may have to make a little strategic change and put some more help down there for him.
Now here comes Gulf Coast on the attack. Wants to send it on the cross, and it's in there. Off the deflection, and Gulf Coast strikes first. Well, a nice stop there by Alex Botts. He just couldn't secure the ball that time. As it just came out of his stomach. In the right spot at the right time was Gulf Coast for the goal. Let's look at that one again. CJ, I didn't necessarily see who scored that one.
I can't tell either. Probably looking at
that. Once again, they don't have the numbers on the front of their jerseys, so it makes it a little difficult to pick up who scores it. I want to say it might have been 14 for Gulf Coast. Now ICC is going to send this one over the top. Really nobody there for the Indians. 1-0 is the score.
See now how they proceed. Will they keep attacking or drop back in some defensive roles a little more?
If that was Griffin Bush, that's going to be his 4th goal of the year. ICC sends it over the top, and once again the back line playing solid for Gulf Coast and not giving the Indians any type of options. Well, let's talk about that, CJ. ICC has seen a lot of teams this year elect to pack it in on them even before they get a lead. So just talk about defensively, if that's your mindset for Gulf Coast right now, what can you expect to see out of Gulf Coast?
Well, personally, I never like to see that.
Yeah.
I like to see teams just keep attacking and try to get as much as they can. But you do see a lot of teams fall back in the defensive back and just basically build a wall and challenge you to come through it. And so our guys are definitely going to have to step up right here.
1-0 is the score. Gulf Coast strikes with 34-29 left in the first half. Now ICC trying to get on the attack. This is Chandler Carter who had it, lost it, and once again, anytime the ball gets on this left half or ICC's attacking half of the field, you see Gulf Coast coming in a hurry and really smothering the ball and applying a lot of pressure as that ball goes out of bounds and it go back to the Bulldogs. So 33 minutes to go now until halftime. 1-0 is the score. This is the quarterfinal round of the MACJC playoffs. Gulf Coast and ICC met back in September. Gulf Coast came away with a 3-1 decision in that one, the first loss of the year for ICC. As the Bulldogs throw this one down the pitch in a hurry here. The Indians trying to scramble and get it back, and Gulf Coast just fights that one out, now clears it out to midfield. Now here come the Indians, trying to squeeze this one ahead, looking for Nichols. Nichols lost his balance for a second, was able to get it back, now sends it out wide. That's Marquez. Marquez is going to wisely back it back out and try to reset here, but Gulf Coast continue to put on some pressure and forcing the ball all the way back to the keeper here. CJ, I think we're going to see what you said. Gulf Coast staying aggressive and staying on the attack here as they really got in behind them that time defensively and then forced just an unforced error that time, and now they get it back. So now Gulf Coast will back it out to mid-pitch. Sends this one over the middle. And it's going to be broken up, and dangerous ball here as Marquez going to get to it in a hurry. Sends it ahead. Now the ball's loose on the pitch, and Nichols is going to let it settle. Now wants to squeeze it ahead, and just a bad send that time. And CJ, I think you're seeing the Indians force a little bit. Now you're starting to see a lot of frustrations in the guys wearing red jerseys.
Yeah, I think they just need to take a deep breath, calm down, get back to playing their game. Don't let the frustrations creep in this early.
Yeah, this would be one of those situations where if soccer had timeout, Sully would most definitely burn one right now. 1-0 is your score. 31-21 to go here in the first half. Gulf Coast with the lead.
Man, that midfield is crowded.
Yeah, it is. They're not giving the Indians anything easy and forcing them to go out wide, and got pretty good speed on the edge on the back line. And you see there they take it away once again. The ball goes out of bounds. Last touch by ICC. So now Gulf Coast, they're picking it up defensively and not giving anything easy for the Indians. ICC going to send in a sub along with Gulf Coast. It looks like Peyton Phillips coming in for the Bulldogs. And for ICC, it's going to be Jalen Boyd checking in here. ICC trying to get a little bit more speed on the pitch right now. These substitutions being brought to you by the ICC Baptist Student Union. Follow them on Twitter at ICCBSU. Ball is sent in, and now Gulf Coast popping this one high into the afternoon. Ball bouncing around, loose on the pitch, and Carson O'Daniel was there. Now it ends up at the feet of Rodriguez. Rodriguez trying to send it over the top, looking for Boyd on the backside, but a smart decision that time by Isaiah Gore to come up and make the play out of position to try to break up that situation. Now Gulf Coast trying to get out and transition in a hurry. Sends this one down the pitch, and this is going to be Helms, who is just going to wisely send this one out of bounds to allow the defense to catch up and reset. So 1-0 is the score. Gulf Coast with the lead. They score off a deflection by Box. Box just couldn't quite hold on to the ball after it kind of got in on him on a jam and kind of hit off his stomach. And a Gulf Coast player who we think was Griffin Bush that scored the goal was in the right spot at the right time to be able to send that one home. Dangerous ball there. Still dangerous here as Gulf Coast. That should be a handball as Gulf Coast player came up and hit it, but the referee was kind of shielded from his angles. The ball's going to go out of bounds. It will stay with the Bulldogs. Absolute beautiful day for soccer here in Fulton, other than the field being a little sloppy today after some of the rains we got. Of course, these matches were originally scheduled for Tuesday because of all the heavy rain that came in on Monday, got pushed back. And as we said, typically the women start things off, but the men are doing it today. They had Sophomore Appreciation Day before the match and trying to extend their season with the win this afternoon. The winner of this match will go on to the semifinal round. Team and time, I believe, to be determined. That will be Saturday, and the championships are on Sunday. Gulf Coast with it. Clears it out back to midfield. ICC takes it. This is Nichols now. Nichols wants to swing it out wide. This is Carson O'Daniel. ICC with one of their best opportunities so far, trying to go the opposite way. Nobody there. His foot failed him that time, CJ.
Yeah, just looking at this, they just need to dribble in a little bit further before they try these passes. Gulf Coast is more than reading what they're throwing at them right now.
So this ball sent out wide. This is going to be White with it now. Sends it up to Boyd. Boyd tries to get it back in bounds, and Gulf Coast once again smothering the ball once he gets about halfway down the pitch on the ICC's attacking side. And has done a good job of forcing ICC into some turnovers. Indians with it now. Carson O'Daniel trying to send this one ahead to Boyd. Boyd trying to get to it, and Gulf Coast was there. Good job by the Gulf Coast back line player. CJ didn't have a chance at the ball, but took away the angle of attack from Boyd.
Completely took him out of that play.
That's one thing we talked about. We talked about it with McKinley Holland, as that was number 13, Mac Russell, that was on the defensive play. But it's one thing. If you can't get to the ball, you can still affect the play by just coming up and taking away the opportunity from the player trying to attack the ball.
Absolutely. And it's even easier when you've got help over the top like he did right then.
Yeah. A little confusion here, as I thought the ball actually stayed in bounds when he touched it with his hands, but Gulf Coast with the throw in here right below us. Gulf Coast in the blue and black kits. They're moving left to right on the attack. Now have the ball going here, trying to get up the middle of the pitch, just weaving his way through traffic. But a nice job there by number 25, Mitchell, to take it away. And now Mitchell's trying to sprint his way out, and
Oh.
They're going to call a foul. They were trying to see what would happen in that situation if the ball would continue to play. A Gulf Coast player is down, Dion Travis, and hopefully he's okay. He looks to be able to get up on his own here. When he went to the ground, he immediately grabbed his knee, and I heard a pop. Maybe it was like his hand slapping himself that time. One of those all too familiar pops you sometimes hear in athletics. That typically results in bad things. So luckily, glad to see Travis able to get up on his own power. CJ, you look at that pass back that time. ICC is just all out of sorts right now.
Yeah. Definitely not the direction that one was supposed to go.
Well, ICC with it now, and the ball ends up at the feet of O'Daniel, and O'Daniel just couldn't get a good touch on it. Took a bad hop off his foot that time, and now Gulf Coast taking advantage, trying to get out in the open field. Thomas with it now, weaving his way through traffic, leaves it out wide. That's going to be Redmond with it. Redmond sending it out wide left side. Going to put a strong foot into it, trying to find it on the cross, and ICC just clears it out of bounds. And it will head into the drink across the way.
Which may actually have water in it for the first time this year.
Yeah, I was going to say, I believe it does. We have a substitution getting set to come into the match here for the Bulldogs. This is going to be number 9, Brandon Marquez, checking into the contest. Well, CJ, let's just talk about it right now and tell it like it is. The Indians have got hit in the mouth, and they're on their heels and can't really find a way to get their feet back underneath them.
Yeah, it's been a ugly start, to say the least.
You got to give all the credit to Gulf Coast. They've applied the pressure and defensively really has forced the Indians out of their game, so kudos to the Bulldogs for the start of the contest so far. ICC has got to settle down and find a way to get back in it. Now here come the Indians trying to get it up the pitch. The ball is going to be sent out of bounds, last touched by the Bulldogs, so it'll be a throw in here for the Indians. So now ICC with it. And that one's sent ahead, and a lot of contact. I'm going to say if they don't call a foul there, then, but they do call one back there as foul on Gulf Coast, and they'll respot the ball with the Indians.
Yeah, he's letting them play for a little bit before he's calling those fouls.
So White with it now, and now sends it ahead. Now here come the Indians. One of their best opportunities so far in the contest. Sends it over the middle, but again, Gulf Coast back line is there. Header sent forward, and just couldn't quite get enough on that one. A good attempt to just advance the ball forward. It was Carson O'Daniel that sent it forward. Clayton was trying to get back on sides. If the back line was back a little bit, O'Daniel had a chance to make that dangerous.
Yeah, it's really the first opportunity we've really had in this first half.
So this is Carson O'Daniel who's going to leave it out wide to White. White sends it ahead to Boyd, and Boyd able to control it. Now sends it across the middle. This is Rodriguez with it now. Rodriguez goes out wide to Marquez. Marquez back to Rodriguez, but there's Gulf Coast to clean things up and send it out of bounds again. Just seems like right now, CJ, Gulf Coast is about a half a step ahead of ICC in everything they try to do.
Oh, yeah, and really give credit to their midfield. Those guys have been on it so far today. Getting back on defense, pushing forward on the offense, really covering a lot of ground. And give them credit. They're just playing hard right now. And we're not playing too hot. Definitely not making the passes we need to make.
Well, substitutions into the match now is going to be number 14, Carter Chandler, re-entering for the Indians. Brandon Marquez and Griffin Bush, I believe, re-enter the contest here for the Bulldogs. And then this one, Indians send it back and nearly make an own goal. CJ.
Oh,
anything and everything. A lot of contact there, but CJ, anything and everything right now, just not going the way of the Indians at all. They almost send in an own goal trying to clear the ball back to the keeper, and luckily Alex Box was awake enough to go over there, and that thing was on frame. If he doesn't make that play, it's 2-0 Bulldogs.
Yeah. And he didn't get back in too much time to spare.
So now the Indians with it. Gulf Coast wanting to apply some pressure, and they do force the turnover. But there's Carson O'Daniel to get it back. Going to try to leave it up the pitch to his brother Clayton, who squeezes this one ahead. There's Jalen Boyd up the pitch and lost it for a moment. Now gets it back. Ball's being batted around, and smart play that time by Gulf Coast. That was Kevin Morales coming up and making the play just to simply clear it out because he knew the ball was in a dangerous position that time. Was able to get a foot on it. Really didn't look back to see where it went. Just wanted to get it sent forward, and there's going to be a foul on the Bulldogs, and it'll be a free kick coming up here for the Indians. And CJ, right now, if you're ICC, you've got to take this moment to regroup, clear your head, and make this thing dangerous.
Yeah, we need a good free kick here. Put it on goal. Hope something good happens out of it. And did you notice how quickly those midfielders got back on that ball right there?
Very quick. So 1-0 is your score. Going to send this one ahead and cleared out nicely that time by the Bulldogs. Now Josh White wants to put a foot into it and sends this one deep into the practice field. So if you're Gulf Coast, you'll take that shot all day, every day there. So once again, Gulf Coast defense is getting it done. Their lone goal in the afternoon came after a deflection off the keeper, as this is going to be number 5, K Knight, into the match here for the Indians. Like we have an injury timeout on the pitch here for Gulf Coast, and I think this might be number 10, James Redmond, that's going to have to come out of the contest. Yeah, it's going to be number 8 coming into the contest. That's going to be Ichima. And then number 7 as well, Thomas, into the match. So those pair of substitutions, and a substitution for ICC. Those subs being brought to you by our friends at First American National Bank, inviting you to follow the flag from Iuka to Tupelo. That's First American National Bank, a proud sponsor of ICC Athletics this afternoon here on the ICC Sports Network. So the Indians took it away, but Gulf Coast, once again, that swarming defense taking it right back, trying to get back on the attack to see if they can build on this 1-0 advantage. There's 20 minutes and 43 seconds left in the first half. That's Helms. Nice play by Helms to break that one up. And, man, we've been talking about him all season long. He has just been lights out for the Indians on that back line. But, again, another poor touch and a turnover by ICC. We're just trying to do a little bit too much that time. Was Peyton Phillips, and ICC able to get it back, and that one sent right into the Gulf Coast player, sent out of bounds. So the Indians trying to quickly reverse the pitch across the way, and Chandler was there but had the ball deflected away, but ends up at the feet of Marquez. Marquez wanting to dribble it to the middle of the pitch. Does so now. Wants to drop it across the middle. This is White with it now. White trying to find somewhere to go. Sends it over the middle. Nobody there for the Indians that time. And again, just ICC, CJ, not making those good touches, those good crisp passes. And once they do get deep on the attack, it's almost like they stand them back on their heels and not really moving.
Yeah, I mean, right then when he sent that ball into the box, there was at least 6 blue uniforms standing there.
Yeah.
And I didn't see but 3 red. So the numbers are definitely not in our favor in that situation.
So a foul on the Bulldogs, and ICC will have it for a free kick. This is going to be Marquez on the far side of the pitch. There's 19:22 to go here in the first half. Good send. Chance to make this dangerous here. Puts the header on it. And then Gulf Coast once again just in there to clear that thing out in a hurry. And 3 headers, and it's almost back to midfield. Good job by the Bulldogs defensively once again. And CJ, that's really just been the tail of the tape so far here in the first half. It's just been the Bulldogs defense. And they were just in the right spot at the right time to have that 1-0 lead. But this Bulldogs defense has just been smothering all afternoon.
They have, and then once they get possession, they're quick to take advantage of it and send it the other way.
This one's going to be deflected away, and ICC is able to get it back. This is Clayton O'Daniel with it now. O'Daniel trying to get to the ball. It eventually comes his way. Wants to fire, broken up nicely in the Bulldogs. Once again, when the ball gets close or in near the box, they put 2 guys around it in a hurry. Referee's down on the pitch. And Gulf Coast is going to clear it out. Actually, I honestly thought the referee might have hurt himself the way he went down that time.
It was an awkward.
And then a turnover gives the ball back to the Bulldogs now. Bulldogs with it at midfield. Now they're going to swing it out wide near side. This is Phillips with it. Phillips trying to go back over the middle. Good idea, just a little bit behind Thomas that time, who was cutting to the inside. ICC cleared it out, but Gulf Coast gets it back. The Bulldogs going to send this one down the pitch. Wanted offsides, but was not called. But I think the referee just saw that it was going to be easily taken that time by the keeper and said play on. So the Indians with it. They try to send it ahead, and once again, Gulf Coast takes it away. CJ, what can the Indians do right now just to try to get this thing back in their favor? Is anything and everything they do offensively, Gulf Coast is almost, like we said, a step ahead of them on the attack.
Yeah, I think somebody's going to have to dribble that ball deep into the zone. The passing is clearly not working for them right now, so we're going to have somebody that can control the ball, make a good run, and hopefully open something up.
Substitution into the match here for the Bulldogs, David Maldonado. Probably saying that wrong. I apologize if I am, as he's going to come into the match. ICC getting ready for a substitution. It's their next opportunity. Ball's going to be out of bounds. Should be a goal kick. Yes, it will be here for the Indians as Nichols. Lando getting set to check in here. Breeze picking up a little bit here in Fulton. A beautiful day for soccer. Once again, if you're on campus or around Fulton, we do invite you to come out and support the guys and the ladies playing at 2:30. $5 entry fee with it being a playoff match. ICC students and faculty and staff get in free. So White with it now. 1-0 is the score. 16:39 to go here in the first half. ICC had it, then once again taken away nicely by the Bulldogs, and started to see that time Clayton O'Daniel come up and put a little pressure on the keeper to force him to get away in a hurry here. So first really sign of intensity we've seen out of the Indians in quite a while.
Yeah, it's almost like we're playing a man down.
Yeah. So now Indians with it. This is Nichols with it, trying to go on the attack, but simply taken away that time. And the ball's going to go out of bounds and back to the Indians. 16 minutes to play as ICC quickly gets this one back in. Helms was trying to get back and get the loose ball. He'll have to track up in a hurry to get back on that back line. He does so. ICC, though, able to keep possession. Now trying to go over the top of the defense. Here's a chance to Nichols. Nichols going to have to hurry to get to it. Fires. And what a play that time by the keeper of Gulf Coast.
What some hang time there.
Let's go back and look at that one on the Little Caesars instant replay. You know it's pretty impressive when you go back and replay the opposing team. You know, he's small of stature, but that's what we said watching him in warm-up, CJ. Very athletic and a big-time play there by Isaiah Gore. It's got to be the last name.
I mean, that last name just screams athleticism, doesn't it?
It does, as ICC takes this one away. Now here come the Indians, one of their best opportunities of the afternoon. They try to send this one ahead, and good idea, just poor angle sent that time as they were looking for Clayton O'Daniel, trying to close in a hurry. But a good job by the Bulldogs once again coming in to take away that angle of attack from O'Daniel. Couldn't catch up with the ball. And another nice stop. Credit to the back line of that Bulldogs defense.
But some lanes have been opening up now.
Yeah.
That's two we've had opportunity on.
This ball deflected away, and O'Daniel trying to get to it, sent back over the middle. We have an injured Bulldog on the pitch right now. Appreciate Don sending me that pronunciation on the young man that came into the match. Also Patrick Oakes checking in. He agrees, CJ. He says it's got to be the last name of the guy that from Gulf Coast that came in and made that play. All right, CJ, for the novice soccer fans, explain just what went on there. It's a little bit of the sportsmanship or the gamesmanship of the game.
It's just a sign of good sportsmanship. Injured player, ref blows it dead, the opposing team, so they just kick it out. Just a good sign of sportsmanship.
You necessarily don't have to do that.
No, you don't have to.
You know, if you go to the School of Gore, you're going to say just face like you're going to kick it out of bounds like you just did there, and then put it on frame and see if you can't tie this thing up 1-1. And in the MACJC, then the fight ensues. So you don't listen to Gore at all in that sense.
Yeah, I'm sure the officials would love that.
Yeah, absolutely. 1-0 is the score. 13:57 to go here until halftime. Adam Gore, CJ Adams, Raphael Henry up top running the camera. Lee Adams is on the sideline. He's taking photos this afternoon, also updating Twitter. Follow us on Twitter at Let's Go ICC. We do want to say a special hello to all those that are watching down around Gulf Coast in support of the Bulldogs. I know it's a long trip for those fans, and some of them just couldn't get away from work today, so we're happy to be able to bring you this broadcast and also the women's broadcast a little bit later on this afternoon at 2:30. Gulf Coast with it, going to simply clear this one down the pitch, see if they can get it over the top of the defense. Helms is there to take it over, but nice pressure being applied by the Bulldogs, and it's going to go out of bounds. And it's going to stay out of the ditch thanks to a fan on the far side of the pitch that was able to get there in a hurry. Remind you to stay tuned at halftime. We'll have our first half thoughts, scoring updates, and also hear from the ICC All-American band from earlier this football season. Of course, we do want to remind you we'll be back on the air tomorrow night as ICC heads to Northwest with a shot at the playoffs on the line. Not only is there a shot at the playoffs, folks, mathematically and realistically, there's actually a shot at winning the North Division for the Indians. So a lot of things have to fall in place Thursday night, of course. the first thing that has to fall in place would be an Indians win over the number 2 team in the country, Northwest. That'll be a 7 o'clock First American National Bank opening kickoff, so it'll be a 6:30 Davis Ford pregame show. So you want to be sure and join us here on the Red Channel, as well as Super Talk Mississippi 101.9 FM.
It's a pro, right?
So the Indians sending the ball down the pitch here. It'll be a throw-in this situation. More fans making their way out to the pitch. See the Lady Indians soccer team across the way. You figure once class kind of lets out for the afternoon, that you'll see some more students making their way out here to support the Indians and hopefully rally them to victory, as this one sent across the middle. Broken up nicely that time once again by the Bulldogs, and really surprised the referees did not stop that one, as this one sent to the backside. Nichols was there. And is it going to be a corner kick? I believe it should be. Yes, it will. Got a substitution trying to check in, and he will. This is going to be number 17, Diego Trujillo, coming in. And he will sub in, and checking out is going to be Cade Knight. These substitutions being brought to you by the Cagle Eye Center here in Fulton. If you need your eyes checked in Fulton, give them a call at 862-EYES. That's 862-EYES. Fires this one, and deflected hard that time off a Gulf Coast player. Ball still loose on the pitch. Bodies flying all over the place, and there's going to be a foul called on Gulf Coast. Tough play there, as both guys are going for the ball, and they call the foul on Gulf Coast. Of course, again, I'm not a soccer aficionado like you are, CJ, but
I didn't see a whole lot there. Both of them going up for the ball.
It looked like both of them went up for the ball equally that time. And then the referee places the ball, and Lando moves it up about a half a foot, and he didn't like that. So, free kick opportunity coming up here for the Indians. Got to make this thing dangerous. They trail it 1-0. As Sully trying to call on the play. Nobody really paying much attention to him that time. And O'Daniel trying to go back post to Mitchell, and good idea, but once again, Gulf Coast right there. Johnny on the spot to break that one up beautifully. This one popped up. Trying to go backside that time, not there. Ball still being pinballed around, and eventually going to settle to Mitchell, who will leave it out wide to Josh White. So now the Indians with it, trying to find a way to find this equalizer here. They trail it 1-0 with 9:45 to go here in the first half. And saves it inbounds, and there's Gulf Coast to take it over. This Gulf Coast defense continues to be lights out here so far in the first half. Pretty good little crowd has showed up for Gulf Coast today as well. See some of those fans across the way.
It's the first game this year the bleachers have been utilized.
Yep. Usually throughout the season you see a lot of people that try to get in the shade. That's not the case today. It's not a chilly day, but a cool day for what we've had all season. And seating in the sun is a premium today, when it's usually sitting in the shade a premium. You see a few people out there that's taking advantage of the shadows of the trees. So this was going to be another corner kick coming up for the Indians. Yes, it is. Looks like Rodriguez will take this corner for the Indians. We just feel like ICC is getting closer and closer to knocking on the door here. But Gulf Coast, once again, defensively just getting it done. Trying to send that one over the middle to Nichols. Nichols puts his head on it, then sends it out of bounds. White a little upset. I think White was trying to put that one on frame.
Yeah, not a bad idea to try to head that one in, change of direction. Especially with the athleticism we've seen out of this keeper. It may take redirection to get one past him.
Substitution in the match here for the Bulldogs. This is going to be Peyton Younger into the contest for Gulf Coast. Gulf Coast, once again, in the black and blue kits. ICC in the all-red kits. 1-0 is the score. It was, we believe, number 14, Griffin Bush, that scored the only goal of the match so far, off a deflection after a save by Alex Box. Now here come the Bulldogs trying to go on the attack. The Indians getting physical there, and a foul is called, and ICC fans not a big fan of that call there. And again, you see the referee kind of just carrying on the conversation with the players after it's said and done. If you're the ref, again, it's the playoffs. If you're going to talk that much to a player, you can't pull a card if they say something back. As you see, a couple of frustrated players out there for ICC. Now, if you're the Bulldogs, though, CJ, an opportunity here to go ahead and build on this 1-0 advantage to get a little bit of breathing room with 7:13 to go until halftime.
Absolutely. Anytime you get a free kick, try to make the best of it.
That one sent over the middle. Ooh, dangerous, but quickly cleared out by Helms. Bulldogs able to come up and keep the ball. And now O'Daniel with it. Clayton's going to let the defense clear. Now sends it out wide to Marquez. Marquez trying to keep it up the pitch. Now sends it back over the middle. And then once again, just a hard touch, and Gulf Coast is in the right spot at the right time to break that one up. And the Bulldogs keep it in bounds. Well, right now the Breaks are beating the boys and everything going the way of the Bulldogs. And now here comes Gulf Coast on the other end, and O'Daniel is going to break that one up and try to keep it in bounds, and does so. And now here come the Indians. Nope, Gulf Coast gets it back. There's Rodriguez, though, to take it back for ICC. Now plays it ahead to Clayton O'Daniel. O'Daniel weaving his way through traffic. Now works at the pitch. That's going to be Carter Chandler with it. Chandler now goes out wide. That's Nichols. Nichols tries to reverse the pitch on the opposite side to Clayton O'Daniel. O'Daniel dribbling in, sends it, but no.
By far the best chance we've had this afternoon.
Take a look at that on Little Caesars instant replay here. It will result in a corner kick after that as a player down for Gulf Coast. Injury timeout on the pitch. Let's take the timeout with them and be back with more right after this on the ICC Sports Network.
This broadcast of ICC Athletics is being brought to you by Renaissance Bank, Little Caesars, Davis Ford, the Sonic of Fulton, Tupelo Coca-Cola Bottling Works, the Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi, First American National Bank, the ICC BSU, your Itawamba County Farm Bureau agent, Joey Cox, Cagle Eye Center, the ICC Foundation, the Bank of Okolona, and the ICC Alumni Association.
Everyone has a unique story to tell. Maybe your story has you performing your new song in front of a crowd, getting to play your favorite sport, or enjoying a horseback ride in the country. At Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi, our group of skilled surgeons understand your need to continue your story. That is why we are the preferred choice for orthopedic care. Thank you for choosing us. Our story is you. Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi.
Ever since you got that license, you haven't stopped moving forward. Now that you're older and on the move, you need a safer place to keep your money. We get it. A student checking account frees you up with things like mobile check deposit to take care of that check from grandma without having to stop at a bank. Pay with your phone when you're out with friends. And stop worrying about ATM fees. We'll pay you back for those. Worry about your future, not your money. And know that we'll stick with you, wherever you go. Renaissance Bank, understanding you. Member FDIC.
And welcome back to action. Hard to pick up the number of the young man shaking up for Gulf Coast as he's been helping to the side, and he was helped to the side, but he's also able to put a little bit of weight on there. Header sent up, and an opportunity here. No, another great save there by Gore. Another nice opportunity for the Indians, CJ. Just couldn't take advantage of it there as they did get the header. They were looking for Mitchell, the tallest player on the pitch, but Gore was there to make the save. Ball back to midfield after you take a look at that Little Caesars instant replay. Now here come the Indians. O'Daniel with it, looking for someone to go with him. Nobody really going with O'Daniel right now, so he's going to try to dribble out of it and leaves it back out wide. That is going to be Josh White. White back over the middle. That's Carson O'Daniel back to White, who's trying to get to the outside, being pursued by Gulf Coast 2 players. And again, anytime ICC gets the ball that deep in the pitch, they quickly double team it, and the turnover gives it back now to Gulf Coast, who's trying to get out wide. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, you got to put a yellow on that one. And Helms comes up and does shake his head in agreement, but a good sign of sportsmanship there on the part of Helms that time, as just sent Cisco Thomas just a flip in the air that time. And you can't really fault Helms. He was trying to come up and make the play. Didn't really do anything malicious, even though it was a tough landing that time between the two teams. He does get the yellow, and he'll be subbed out, and you figure he's probably going to be sent right back in the next opportunity.
Yeah, he's not going to be out very long.
Yeah. Referee's giving Thomas time to collect himself there. And not only did you see a good sign of sportsmanship out of Helms, you also saw it out of Thomas that time. Once Helms come up to kind of extend his hand and help him up, Thomas just said, hey, just give me a second to catch my breath, and kind of just gave him 5. So a good sign of sportsmanship. Don't see that too often on those type of hard plays. This ball sent wide, high, and out of bounds after a good send in that time. So now the Indians trail at 1-0 inside 5 minutes of play here until halftime. Indians trying to find that equalizer, see if they could pick up some momentum. CJ, some of the opportunities from the Indians have gotten a little bit more deep in the, or I should say, a little deep penetration that time, able to find a way, but just haven't been able to send it home just yet.
Yeah, you're seeing more chances. I don't know if it's if it was the weather, I'd say they're tying out a little bit, but it's definitely not that today.
Well, it looks like the Indians got away with a handball on that high hop that time. Instead, they said play on, and the ball ends up outside the feet of Nichols, and he's fouled. And so now it'll be another free kick coming up here for the Indians. CJ, the Indians have had an opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, whether it be free kicks, corner kicks, to take advantage of some of these situations. But we've got to give credit where credit's due, and that Gulf Coast defense have just been stifling every time ICC's had those opportunities.
They have just stepped up and sent the ball the other direction, just killed every chance we've had. But it would be nice to get one right here before the half.
3:45 to go here until halftime. Remind you to stay tuned for Little Caesars halftime report. Indians trying to find an equalizer. Can they find it on this strike here? Nichols takes it.
It's deflected, I believe.
Yeah, it looks like it was deflected out of bounds, so it'll be a corner kick coming up here for the Indians.
Here we go, red, right here now.
We've got some substitutions getting set to come in if the referees will send them in here. And now they do. For ICC, it's going to be Helms coming back into the contest. And for Gulf Coast, it will be Marquez re-entering here. These substitutions, they're being brought to you by the Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi. For all your aches and pains, stop by and see all the fine folks there at the Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi, a proud sponsor of ICC Athletics this afternoon here on the ICC Sports Network.
That injured Bulldog was McKnight. He's over here running behind the dugout, so that's good to see.
This ball sent ahead. Dangerous opportunity here. Oh, good chance there for the Indians. Just couldn't quite get enough ahead on it that time. CJ did this.
Yeah.
Deflected, and Gore was right on there on the spot.
Yeah, I don't think that ball changed direction at all.
Now here come the Bulldogs on the attack on the other end, and a great play that time by
sliding tackle.
Carson O'Daniel to knock that one out of bounds and allow the defense to reset. So 18 was the injured Bulldog earlier, but as CJ said, he's out running behind us here, so a good sign to see Chad McKnight trying to get loose and get back in the contest here for the Bulldogs. 1-0 is your score. 2-minute warning now here in the first half. Gulf Coast set to throw this one in. This one cleared out by Helms. Gulf Coast, though, able to get it back. And Botts is going to come up and make the play on it. Now ICC just needs to see if they can get the ball up the pitch in a hurry here and catch Gulf Coast in transitioning defense. But instead, man, Gulf Coast is just so quick defensively today. They were able to get back in a hurry and force the turnover.
Not only do they get back in the right spots.
Yeah.
That makes a huge difference.
That one sent back to the keeper. He's now going to send it back to midfield where Gulf Coast will have it. ICC trying to get it back. Chandler putting on some pressure here, but Gulf Coast wisely not panicking when they have the ball and have pressure applied to them. Now ICC forces the turnover. Trying to see if they can get it up the pitch, and just a miscommunication that time as they're looking for Chandler going down the sideline. Nobody was there, and Gulf Coast will let it settle and take over now. 1 minute to go until halftime. 1-0 is your score. Gulf Coast with the lead here in this MACJC quarterfinal matchup. Winner goes on, loser goes home in this elimination game as the Bulldogs with it now. Trying to see if they can pick up an insurance goal. Of course, when we talk about those insurance goals, we talk about your Itawamba County Farm Bureau agent, Joey Cox, for all your insurance needs. Whether it be home, auto, or life, stop by and see Joey Cox right there on South Adams Street. The former ICC All-American football player, a proud sponsor of today's action here on the Red Channel of Let's Go ICC TV. oklahoma.com. 25 seconds to play now here. 1-0 is the score. ICC gets it back now. Can they find a way maybe in the final 20 seconds to tie this thing up? They send it ahead to Nichols. Nichols tried to send it ahead to O'Daniel. O'Daniel was already releasing by the time he sent that one forward, and now here come the Bulldogs. They're trying to find a way to tack on a goal. Is it going to go out of bounds? That'll probably do it. 5 seconds now here until halftime.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yep, and that'll do it. 1-0 is your score as we move into the Little Caesars halftime report. And CJ, before we take a break, let's get your thoughts on the first half.
Well, give credit where it's due. Gulf Coast played a really good first half. We could definitely make improvements. Got to work on the passing and the penetration into the offensive zone, and work to get better shots.
And that first half thoughts being brought to you by the Bank of Oklahoma. John Harrod and all the fine folks at the Bank of Oklahoma. Visit bankofoklahoma.com for more information. We're going to take a timeout and come back with the Little Caesars halftime show, as this is going to be the ICC All-American Band's performance from earlier this season. The Indians trail it 1-0 at halftime. Back with more right after this.
Student involvement is a top priority here at Itawamba Community College.
If you want to be involved with student government, then the Student Government Association is the place for you.
If you have a stellar GPA, then Phi Theta Kappa is for you.
If you're interested in the diverse culture of our campus population, then the Diversity Club is for you.
If you're interested in leadership and service, then Indian Delegation is for you.
If you're majoring in computer programming or computer networking, then CPNA, the Computer Programming Networking Association, is for you.
If you're interested in good conversations and free lunch on Thursdays, then the Wesley Foundation is for you.
Our health science programs also have specific organizations for those majors.
Student Activities is excited to bring you new opportunities here at the ICC Tupelo campus.
Whatever your passion may be, we have a place for you.
This video is brought to you by Phi Theta Kappa, Beta Chi Sigma, Tupelo campus.
The longer a person has diabetes, the more likely they are to develop diabetic retinopathy. If left untreated, diabetic retinopathy can lead to blindness. That's why it's important for diabetics to have a comprehensive eye examination with dilation once a year. I'm Dr. Laurie Cagle of Cagle Eye Center in Fulton. We offer comprehensive eye exams to provide diagnosis and treatment of various eye diseases. Browse our large selection of frames available in prescription and non-prescription. Call to schedule your appointment today at Cagle Eye Center in Fulton.
This broadcast of ICC Athletics is being brought to you by Renaissance Bank, Little Caesars, Davis Ford, the Sonic of Fulton, Tupelo Coca-Cola Bottling Works, the Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi, First American National Bank, the ICC BSU, your Itawamba County Farm Bureau agent, Joey Cox, Cagle Eye Center, the ICC Foundation, the Bank of Oklahoma, and the ICC Alumni Association.
With the Little Caesars mobile app, you can customize an extra most bestest pizza with the most cheese, and now with the most of any toppings for the nation's best price. It's the crowning pizza achievement. And it's true what they say, it's lonely at the top. Unless you have an extra most bestest pizza, then it's a party at the top!
Little Caesars Extra Most Bestest Pizzas, the world's easiest way to outrageous amounts of toppings, starting at $6.
Pizza.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Itawamba Community College is proud to present to you the 2019 ICC All-American Marching Band. This year's program, The Evolution of Gaming, features some of the most popular video games of our time. This evening we open with the 1980 Atari game Space Invaders. And now, the ICC All-American Marching Band. And now, the 91 Sega game, Sonic the Hedgehog, featuring trumpet soloist Tucker Johnson from Saltillo. featuring our percussion section. And Diavian Calmes Walker from Starkville. Color guard captains are Alfonso Fernandez, South Pontotoc, and Alexis Wharton from Barr County, Alabama. Percussion captains are Cody Hunter from Lafayette and Alexis Bradley from Tupelo. Front ensemble captains are Chloe Hatfield from Alcorn Central and Jacob Curry from Saltillo. Indian choreographers Roxy.
Everyone has a unique story to tell. Maybe your story has you performing your new song in front of a crowd, getting to play your favorite sport, or enjoying a horseback ride in the country. At Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi, our group of skilled surgeons understand your need to continue your story. That is why we are the preferred choice for orthopedic care. Thank you for choosing us. Our story is you. Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi.
With the Little Caesars mobile app, you can customize an extra most bestest pizza with the most cheese, and now with the most of any toppings for the nation's best price. It's the crowning pizza achievement. And it's true what they say, it's lonely at the top. Unless you have an extra most bestest pizza, then it's a party at the top!
Little Caesars Extra Most Bestest Pizzas, the world's easiest way to outrageous amounts of toppings, starting at $6.
Pizza. Bespoke is a word that comes from the clothing industry. It's a European term, and it meant originally to be spoken for. In Mississippi, I say it's a fancy word for made from scratch. My name is Josh West.
Nick Weaver.
Our craft is bespoke denim. Blue Delta Jean Company is a bespoke denim manufacturer. We make everything in Tupelo, Mississippi, and we ship jeans around the world.
We're reintroducing the South and most of the U.S. back to raw denim.
There's a lot of verbiage out there about custom, made-to-measure, bespoke. We say bespoke because we truly are making a fully customizable jean. We use the best fabrics in the world. We buy from all over. We make everything in the United States right here in Tupelo, and we bring the customer in on the design process.
That is what separates us from other jean companies, that we're making a personal pattern. So we do have the Oxford Studio where you come to get measured, and you pick out your fabric, your fit, your cut, and your thread.
You'll notice we do a lot of athletes. These guys are really tall, these ladies are really tall, small waist, really big thighs. They can't find jeans that really fit them that are aesthetically pleasing. I started noticing that we had a resource here that not many places had, which is talented seamstresses. It's an art that's dying in the United States of America because so much garment has gone overseas. When I noticed that resource, I started building a business plan around that.
He said, hey, we can make custom jeans in North Mississippi.
When the numbers made sense, that's when I called Nick, because I knew I could figure out how to make the product, but I needed somebody to help me sell the product.
We wrote it down on the game plan, and we're still executing it today.
The first step is somebody getting fitted, and that can be with one of our partner stores or at one of our studios.
And we're taking, 13 to 16 measurements, whether or not you want a regular cut or a skinny cut jean.
And then the order comes to us electronically here in the factory in Tupelo. Johnson Benjamin has been our pattern maker since 2013. He drafts a pattern literally for that client. And then it moves on to Brian Baldwin. He does all of our cutting, and he tries to cut that jean within 15 minutes. Every seamstress has a job that they do, and they're really good at it. You can watch a jean literally from start to finish go through the manufacturing process.
There is a really famous old jean company that can make a jean in 3 minutes.
It takes us about 3 hours to take a jean from start to finish. We're still a very small company. We're less than 20 people top to bottom. The thing that I think really sets us apart from a lot of other small batch denim companies is the people that we have. These people have worked, many of them in denim garment production for years and years and years. And we really do try to make this a family environment. Our lead seamstress is a lady by the name of Miss Sarah Ritchie. She was our first employee. She started in January of 2012, and she's now leading our sewing team.
Having over 100 years of sewing experience in a company that's very young was definitely to our benefit. People bought our jeans in the beginning because it was a good story. It was two guys trying to start something. But now they're rebuying because of our quality and our fit, and it's the people that make that happen. What we are offering is, more than just a jean. There are lifetime alterations, lifetime repairs. We have people send jeans back that are 2 or 3 years old because they've lost 10 pounds, we take them off. So what you're getting is something that I think people are, wanting more of. We're using cone denim from North Carolina. We're using Holland & Sherry cottons from Scotland. We are using the premium fabrics of the world, and we're doing it right here in Mississippi.
Our main goal has always been to be the best bespoke denim provider in the U.S. I think we've ratcheted that up to the best bespoke denim provider in the world.
Our work ethic, his plan, finding good people, finding the right people to make the product, it's a good recipe for success.
I don't think you can match the quality that we're putting out. So now we're working on how does this brand develop from here on out? What markets are we in? How are we getting the world in our jeans?
And welcome back as we get set to start the second half of play. Gulf Coast with a 1-0 advantage here in the quarterfinal round of the MACJC Conference Tournament. The winner of this match will go on to the semifinal round to be hosted at Hines on Saturday. The championship round is on Sunday. And Adam Gore, CJ Adams, Raphael Henry up top running the camera today. Lee Adams on the sideline taking photos and updating Twitter. Mind you can see those photos at iccimages.com. All right, CJ, what's your second half adjustments? Of course, these second half adjustments being brought to you by the Bank of Okolona. Visit bankofokolona.com.
Well, just got to make better passes. Get into the zone, like Coach told them at halftime. He explained to them this defense and how they need to counter it, and we'll just see. So far, it looks like they're taking his advice coming to these sides.
Marquez now getting the ball on the opposite side, puts it over the middle.
Good
Header
ball.
is not there, though. Another save by Gore, but yes, a great send across that time, CJ. As we take a look at that, the Little Caesars instant replay, very much more positive start to the second half than we saw the first half.
Yeah, and I believe they took Coach's word to heart.
Yeah. Well, it's like you said, you're 45 minutes away from either going on or going home.
That's right.
And for these sophomores today, most definitely don't want this to be their last match they play this season. Gulf Coast sends this one out of bounds. Indians, they're in the all-red kits today. Gulf Coast in the blue and black.
There's no way. We're standing. Come on.
Good sign to see Chad McKnight back into the contest. He was shaken up earlier. Was called for that foul, but
yeah, it's good to see him back up. He looked like he was in some serious pain for a few minutes.
You kind of hear the coaches talking back and forth about the referee there. And that brings up a good point, a point that Steve Diffie likes to make, and I believe he's coined the phrase, consistently inconsistent. And that's kind of what Sully and Coach Handy was alluding to there on the sidelines for those that might have been able to hear it. Carson O'Daniel sneaks that one away, now tries to send it ahead, cleared out nicely that time. Now Mitchell wants to send it back across the middle, and ICC is going to just send it back to midfield and reset the attack. This is Helms. Sends it to Carter Chandler. Chandler trying to nice send. Ooh, it was a nice send that time to Nichols. Nichols trying to go back post, but a little bit too tall.
Too heavy.
And they tried to sell it as a deflection, but it was not. So ICC's had some pretty nice starts to the first half here.
Definitely like to see this more than what was going on in that first half.
And I don't know what's going on with that noise that time.
Yeah, I heard that.
Some interference. Don't know if it was a phone coming across the internet or what, so we do apologize for that there. But either way it goes, ball is sent up the pitch, and Gulf Coast will have it on the throw-in across the way. 42-13 left in the contest. Gulf Coast leading it 1-0. It was a goal, we believe, by Griffin Bush with 34-29 left in the first half. That's been the difference in the match right now. And man down for Gulf Coast. CJ, I was looking down at my paper that time to try to update everything. What happened?
Well, there's a little bit of contact, but I don't know if there was as much as he's trying to sell right there.
And amazingly, he is running down the pitch after being shaken up. Pretty common to see in soccer.
It is.
As Gulf Coast now maintains possession, tries to swing it out wide. This is going to be Luke Mills with it, trying to send it inside. It was broken up nicely that time by the Indians. Ball loose on the pitch. Gulf Coast able to keep it. That one's in across the middle, broken up nicely by Helms. ICC trying to clear it out and couldn't quite do so. It's going to be out of bounds, and they're going to say it belongs to the Indians. It's like a loose cord.
It might be in that cable there.
Yeah.
I'll hold on to it.
That's not good because we just bought these things. So the throw in by the Indians, and Gulf Coast is there to take it away. They lead it 1-0 now, trying to get on the attack to see if they can send this one ahead and get a little bit of breathing room. Fires, and that one's going to be stopped that time. I believe it was not on frame, though, but a good job of keeping that one in bounds. They thought it might have been deflected off an ICC player, but now here come the Indians trying to get it up the pitch. That ball sent a little bit too far, now loose, and Gulf Coast gets it. Here come the Bulldogs. Opportunity here for Gulf Coast. Fires, but too tall. Man, Gulf Coast is just so quick from midfield to quickly turn around on the attack, really not giving the Indians enough time to get back defensively. But you got to give credit for Gulf Coast. They're showing off a lot of team speed this afternoon.
They are, across the board. Defenders, strikers, midfield. Everybody gets where they need to go in a hurry.
There's 40 minutes and 10 seconds left in this one. We do want to remind you the women's match will be coming your way at 2:30. It'll be between Gulf Coast and ICC as well in a quarterfinal matchup with a trip to the semifinals on the line for both teams there. Now here comes Gulf Coast. Clearing that one back out. I was going to say here comes the Indians, but that one was hit forward and Gulf Coast easily controlled it. Now, we saw ICC making some long passes to attack it now. It's kind of falling back into what they were doing in the first half. Just a poor touch and send it, and it goes out of bounds back to Gulf Coast.
Yeah, I think they need to try some more down these wings. And
beautiful back heel touch, and now here come the Bulldogs. Going to fire on that one, and it was just wide that time, and it's going to be a corner kick coming up here as it was deflected out of bounds. But yeah, again, Gulf Coast just so quick to get back, CJ, and ICC, they've got to be aware of that. They've got to be on their heels, that back line, as Gulf Coast has turned in some pretty solid opportunities these past 2 times down, but luckily for the Indians, they haven't been able to cash in on them.
Yep, and got this corner here. Haven't had a lot of corners for Gulf Coast this afternoon.
And they asked to stop the clock as the guy from Gulf Coast is maybe got something in his eye.
Yeah, I believe so.
As he was taking his time to get to the side, and the referee puts the ball back in play now. Corner kick is on its way. It's going to be deflected straight up in the air and out of bounds behind the netting that time. And good job by the ICC defense to come up and force that one to be difficult. The send wasn't the best one in the world, but it was dangerous.
Yeah, it was a little shallow. I don't think it got where it was supposed to go.
So the Indians trail it 1-0. Trying to find their way back in the contest. Looking for that equalizer here as ICC forces it up the pitch, and nothing but blue shirts back there that time as trying to, I guess, advance it to skip it through that midfield. And now here comes Gulf Coast quickly on the attack, trying to get to the outside now. 1v1 opportunity, and good job by ICC to get back and force him to turn around. And then a nice takeaway that time by Marquez. O'Daniel just tries to clear it out, does so as it goes out of bounds. It'll be a throw in here for the Bulldogs. Great defense that time, forcing him to turn his back to the goal on the attack. Indians force that one loose. Nichols with it, now sends it across the middle to Rodriguez, who's going to send it back to Mitchell. Mitchell just sends that one ahead, and Gulf Coast is, again, in the right spot at the right time to easily take that one away and send it back to the keeper here to reset. Indians with it now. This is Rodriguez. Rodriguez trying to go out wide with it. Sends it out now. This is Carter Chandler. Chandler's got pretty good speed on the side. Fires. Deflected away. Rodriguez, though, has it. Fires, and that one deflected high. The ball is loose, and Rodriguez gets it back. Now he's going to fire from distance and just wide. Again, that defense from the Bulldogs, tenacious in taking away the opportunity there from the Indians.
Yeah, they just collapsed all over that ball. By the time he got it settled down and got a shot off, they were right in front of him.
So the Indians, another good opportunity, but another great play by the Bulldogs defense to take that away. 50-50 ball sent down the pitch, and it's going to be up in the air, bouncing around, and looks like ICC will allow it to settle, and yes, they will, and send it back to Helms, who sends it over to Mitchell now. Mitchell wants to send that one ahead to Nichols and just sends it out of bounds back to the Bulldogs. Well, that's been a kind of a point that Mitchell's struggled with this year, is kind of not sending it with strength, but sending it with precision down the pitch, as that one was turned over again. And now here comes the Bulldogs. Opportunity here out on the left wing. Blows by the defender. Fires left-footed, deflected, and just wide. Ball still live. Yeah. And then White comes away with it. Now can the Indians turn this into an opportunity here? You've got Nichols streaking on the backside if they can find him. Squeeze it up the pitch to Clayton O'Daniel. And then O'Daniel watches it get sent out of bounds. And I tell you what, Nichols was really burning it down the backside of the pitch that time, but was step for step by the Bulldogs defense. Impressive by the Bulldogs defense to get back that quickly. Nichols goes back heel touch. Marquez surveying the defense, looking for someone to send it to, and then tries to send it to Nichols. It's broken up beautifully by the Bulldogs.
Go, take a chance. Stay engaged. Come on,
And now here come the Indians. They pop it out wide. This is Rodriguez with it now. Rodriguez looking to go back post and just let it a little bit too far, looking for Nichols on the backside, and again couldn't get to the ball, but a nice job by Mills coming in and taking away that angle attack from Nichols. The Indians are knocking on the door, but nobody home right now for that equalizer. 1-0 is the score. 35-15 to go here in full time between the Indians and the Bulldogs of Gulf Coast. Linda Sullivan checking in earlier on Twitter. She's been a supporter of the Indians all season long, trying to find a way to pull them to victory. Man down on the pitch for the Bulldogs. Play continues. Don Hammett checking in said he too was told that it was Griffin Bush that scored for the Bulldogs, so that is who we'll officially give it to. As man down on the pitch, as injury time on the pitch, we'll take it with them and be back with more right after this. 1-0 ICC trailing the Bulldogs with 34:30 to go in the second half.
Everyone has a unique story to tell. Maybe your story has you performing your new song in front of a crowd, getting to play your favorite sport, or enjoying a horseback ride in the country. At Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi, our group of skilled surgeons understand your need to continue your story. That is why we are the preferred choice for orthopedic care. Thank you for choosing us. Our story is you. Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi.
Ever since you got that license, you haven't stopped moving forward. Now that you're older and on the move, you need a safer place to keep your money. We get it. A student checking account frees you up with things like mobile check deposit to take care of that check from grandma without having to stop at a bank. Pay with your phone when you're out with friends. And stop worrying about ATM fees. We'll pay you back for those. Worry about your future, not your money. And know that we'll stick with you wherever you go. Renaissance Bank, understanding you. Member FDIC.
There we go. Might help if I turn the mute off. Welcome back to action. 1-0 is the score. 34:30 to go here in the second half. Gulf Coast with the lead. Ichima was the injured Bulldog on the field. He was able to get off his own power there. As Gulf Coast has it now, trying to find an insurance goal here, but it's turnover now. Here come the Indians. Opportunity here for ICC to get out in transition. O'Daniel with it. O'Daniel sends it ahead. This is Nichols out of the right wing, and tries to send it ahead in a
hard collision.
Yeah, hard collision, but nicely defended again that time by Chad Hudson. Great idea that time on the part of the Indians, trying to get that one out with the Bulldogs transitioning back. But again, great pressure on the ball that time by the Bulldogs.
Yeah, if he was able to get that across, we had two making a run on that far post. Been a really good opportunity.
Rodriguez with it, sends it ahead. Nobody whatsoever around that time for the Indians, so an easy turnover there. And a collision there once again between a Bulldog and an ICC player, and O'Daniel shaking up on the play. He's going to shake that one off. It'll be a goal kick here for the Bulldogs. Still a lot of time left to play. 33-20 to go here, CJ. But we've seen the Indians get a little bit more aggressive here. The Bulldogs kind of not really playing back, but defensively still just top-notch defensively today. For the Indians, what do they got to do to make some adjustments here to see if they can find that equalizer?
Well, at this point, I wish I knew. I really don't know what to say other than just keep trying to make better passing.
This ball sent down the pitch and headed back that time by Helms. You know, I think that's the fairest thing to say right now, CJ, is because the Gulf Coast Bulldogs are just playing so well defensively. You know, you look at a ball that was deflected off a save, has been the only goal they got today. If you take that away, this has just been a great hard-fought contest between two really good soccer teams this afternoon. But the Indians need to find a way to find that equalizer. Bulldogs with it now, trying to extend this 1-0 advantage. 32-23 left here in the second half. Adam Gore, C.J. Adams, Rafael Henry up top running the camera today. As this ball is going to be sent out of bounds, it'll be a corner kick coming up here for the Bulldogs. Lee Adams on the sideline. He's updating Twitter as well as taking photos for ICCimages.com. You can get those digital downloads for $1. That's ICCimages.com from this season and previous years here at ICC. As the ball has went into the drink, so a nice fan is down there in Firewater Creek fishing that one out.
And as always, it pops up about the time they get the secondary ball.
Once they get the secondary ball, other ball comes out. So it'll be a corner opportunity here for the Bulldogs. They lead it 1-0, 31-32 to go. This ball sent. Knife to the side, and it's going to be deflected, and then they're going to call it
another corner.
Another corner coming up here for the Bulldogs. Just can't seem to get the proper height on this ball they're trying to send in from the corners, which is making it a little bit easier for the Indians to defend. And now they're going to change up the play here. Instead of attacking close to the goal, they're going to be a little bit further out. Now they collapse inside. This one sent nicely. Looking back post, broken up, but into the feet of the Bulldogs. This one now going to be cleared out by Marquez. Great job by Marquez that time, CJ. If he doesn't clear that one out, it's going to be a dangerous opportunity there for the Bulldogs.
Absolutely. That ball was just kind of lingering around in the box. But great job by him sending that out.
It doesn't look like we're going to have that 2:30 start time for the women's match, as we're 30 minutes away from this one being done, and it's almost 2 o'clock now. But we do invite you to stay tuned. After the conclusion of this game, we'll have the Renaissance Bank post-game report and then take a break and come back with the women's match, as ball has went out of bounds and they're going to quickly get one back in play. As the Bulldogs looking to go on the attack now, and this one's going to be sent out wide. Boyd going to try to chase it down. He will be able to get to it. Is there a building moving behind us? What is that? Something at TEPA.
No, it's a big diesel truck there. They're just
hanging out?
I guess checking their engine. I'm not sure what they're doing.
Well, I just hope it doesn't blow up. And now the Indians trying to get this one on the attack, broken up nicely by Gulf Coast. That's what I thought it sounded like. There it is.
At least it's moving now.
Say it's moving. The way the engine was continuously revving up that time, it was sounding pretty bad. Now the Indians trying to rev their engines up here, as this one's going to be sent out wide. Mitchell gets it back now, looking to go with the send over the middle to Carson O'Daniel. O'Daniel header across and cleared up nicely that time by Gulf Coast. And man, it just seems like everything. The ball's just got a magnet towards the feet of Gulf Coast today. They try to clear that one out. It ends up directly at a Gulf Coast player. Oh. And then that guy the turf monster jumped up and got him that time. Looks like me trying to walk up the steps of my house. I wish I was joking about that, folks. As ICC now gets it back, they trail it 1-0, sends it ahead now. This is Clayton O'Daniel with it. Leaves it out wide to Nichols. Nichols trying to send it ahead to Boyd, just a little too tall on the send, and they're going to call the Indians offsides. Interesting, because Boyd was behind or equal to the guy once the ball was sent forward, and then he was able to beat the guy by a step.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Nah, I don't think anybody except the AR saw it that time. So a tough break there for the Indians. Gulf Coast still with a 1-0 advantage. As this one's going to be bounced around, and Gulf Coast lets it settle now, controls it. Has the numbers here. Now they go out wide with it to the left side, looking for the cross, sends, and it's going to be saved that time by Box. Nicely done that time by Box. The ball being bounced around now. Gulf Coast will control it at midfield. Tries to pop it up over the middle. Oh, nice hit. Now here comes another opportunity for the Bulldogs. Got to hurry back, and White does so. Fires, and another save by Box. Box has been busy these last few possessions by the Bulldogs. ICC needs to get on their side of the pitch and keep it there for a little while, but instead they turn it over. Unforced error that time by the Indians, and the Bulldogs get it back. Well, now you got to see maybe ICC trying to apply a little bit more pressure when when the Bulldogs do have it on their side of the pitch.
Yeah, you're going to have to.
Yeah. Now here come the Bulldogs trying to extend this 1-0 advantage. Gulf Coast with it now back over the middle, trying to reverse the pitch. Now they go over to the middle. This is Travis with it, weaving his way through traffic. Fires and wide. A big-time break there for the Indians as Box had his weight shifted going to the left. Shot went right. Or excuse me, his left shot went his right. And luckily for the Indians, that was wide right. Pair of subs coming in here for the Bulldogs. Itchema back in along with Marquez for Gulf Coast. 26:49 left to play. 1-0 is the score in favor of the visiting Bulldogs here in the quarterfinals of the MAC-JC tournament. Winner of this match advances to Saturday's semifinal round. The loser is done for the year. There's Carson O'Daniel taking it away. Nice hustle that time on the part of Carson. Now Rodriguez with it. Not really sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of green grass in front of him right there.
Yeah, you got to dribble that one as long as you can. In that situation, Gulf Coast is just too
fast.
Offsides. And they are going to call it offside. Good call there, CJ. But yeah, I'm with you, CJ. For Rodriguez, you got to dribble that one in as far as you can. Force the defense to make a decision and then outlet it out. But any long passes like that, Gulf Coast has got the speed to be able to chase those down. Indians with it now. That's West with it. Now tries to send it ahead to Boyd. And again, the Bulldogs step in front of that one without an issue. Sent down the pitch. And again, man, just a long pass that seems to find its way to Gulf Coast every time. Helms, though, takes it away. Leaves it over to Carson O'Daniel over the middle. He's going to get it to West now. West drops it back to Mitchell. Mitchell trying to dribble a little bit too much. Poor spacing by the Indians. Now here comes a 1v1 opportunity for the Bulldogs. He's going to fire, and there's a save.
Man, he bailed out that defensive line right there.
Big time there as Mitchell just dribbled a little bit too far that time. Easy steal and a big time save there by Box. As quickly as we go back to live action now, and the ball sent down the pitch, it'll be a goal kick coming up here for the Bulldogs. 24:56 to play here.
Seeing some more frustration out there.
Yeah, you're starting to hear some players from ICC yelling at each other on the pitch, and some of them yelling from the dugout for them to kind of just calm down, play their game. And you got to think, CJ, it has been frustrating today.
Absolutely.
And a large part of that frustration, actually 100% of that frustration, credited to this tough, outstanding defensive play of the Bulldogs this afternoon. There's going to be a foul on the Indians. Remind you, the women's match will be coming your way at the conclusion of this one. Bulldogs with it. Able to keep possession of it. Tough defense out of the Indians. Now they send it over the middle. Now they send it back wide. Just being impatient now. Now fires left-footed, too tall. And I think a lot of that's thanks to the wet turf there, CJ. He lost his footing on that plant foot as he went to strike, and it went high that time. And a big-time break there for the Indians.
Yeah, well, we'll take it at this point in the match. Any break we can get's a good one.
So with 23:36 to play here in the contest, 1-0 continues to be your score. You have to go all the way back to the 34-29 mark of the first half when Griffin Bush scored off a deflection off a save by the keeper for the Indians. That's been the only score today. And ICC has had limited opportunities, and I think the story of this game today has been the defensive play, and West come in, commits the foul, kind of arguing with the referee on that one, and there's no doubt came in a little aggressive and a little high on the attack that time.
Let's go, boy! Hey, make sure you got everybody, guys!
A lot of the other matches were already played yesterday. So a lot of opposing teams able to watch this match here. I think the winner of this one gets Pearl River, but don't quote me on that. As Gulf Coast with it tries to get past West. West sends that one out of bounds to be a throw-in here for the Bulldogs. Again, remind you, Thursday night, we'll be right back here on the Red Channel as ICC and Northwest will do battle in football in Senatobia. That is a match with playoff implications on the line. And for the Indians, if all the stars are in line for the Indians, they can still have a chance, CJ, at winning the North Division.
Somehow.
And
it has been a crazy year.
It has. At the end of the day, there could be a four-way tie for first place in the North. And it's just 8 different scenarios is what could happen after Thursday night in football. As ICC sends this one over the top, Rodriguez finds it back now, tries to send over the middle, and once again,
just somebody there.
Somebody there for Gulf Coast. And what it is Gulf Coast, once the ball gets close, they have 2 guys on the ball at all time, and they're just smothering defensively, not letting the Indians have anything easy, and it's worked all day today.
Yeah, if it's working, don't go away from it.
Absolutely. As this ball's going to be sent back to midfield and be a throw in here for the Indians. But, yeah, that's been the difference in the game right now. It's just been the Bulldogs' defense and a lucky break offensively. They're able to find that goal in the first half. So the Indians trying to find a way for the breaks to go their way as this one pinballed around, eventually finds the feet of Marquez, who sends it to West. He's going to send it back to Helms. Helms going to quickly send over the pitch. That's going to be to White now on the far side of the pitch. Squeezes this one ahead to Boyd. Boyd being hawked defensively. Now sends it across the middle. That's Rodriguez. Rodriguez to West. West trying to find the ball, just a little bit too far of him. And now he's going to have to retreat now and sends it back once again. Great defense by the Bulldogs.
Pick up. James.
Trying to send this one over the middle. Marquez.
Good chance.
Stay with it.
It was there, just couldn't quite send that one home.
Pick up.
Maybe one of the best looks the Indians have had all day today. Just couldn't quite get that one to find its way home to get the equalizer. Marquez leaves it out wide.
Offsides.
Boyd, and it's going to be sent, and offsides is called. Tough break there as O'Daniel was there on the backside. The shot was off frame, but still the Indians were there, but the offsides call negates the opportunity for the Indians. 19:45 to play here. 1-0 still the situation here for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, but you like to see those opportunities, especially that close together.
Well, CJ, one question you got to start thinking now as you're starting to see some of the Gulf Coast players, hands on their knees and tugging at their shorts here. They've put forth a lot of great effort defensively. Do they have enough gas in the tank, or left in the tank, I should say, to be able to make this one out?
Yeah, those boys have covered a lot of ground today. So we will just watch and see.
West with it now.
Handball,
but no call.
Pick up.
Again, in this league, you've got some referees that call it by the book, whether it touched your hand, incidental or not. As now here comes the Indians. Rodriguez with it, gets by the guy,
move.
Fires and off
Good
goal. Save that time. Take a look at that one again there. Boy, that was a good shot that time. Great strike by Rodriguez. Breaks the guy's ankles, and another good save there. Man, if he could have got some air underneath that one, maybe went top shelf, would have had an opportunity there. But Gore has been lights out for the Bulldogs today. Part of that tenacious Bulldogs defense.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say part of that tenacious Gore bloodline.
That too.
But yeah, that was a absolutely great cutback by Marquez to even get that shot off.
So the Indians will have a corner opportunity coming up here. 18:23 to play. This one's sent. Looking for the header. Shot is up. No, not there.
Well,
loose on the pitch. And then the Bulldogs clear it out. Another opportunity for the Indians. The ball just refused to go to its home. And this one sent out of bounds. bouncing around and will find its way out of the tree. Was going to think there for a minute. It might have hit our vehicle, but a good thing we're insured by our Itawamba County Farm Bureau agent, Joey Cox. He would have been glad to take care of it there if any damage was done. Stop by and see Joey for all your insurance needs on South Adams Street. He's my insurance guy. He should be your insurance guy, too. That's Joey Cox. So the Indians with a throw-in here below us in the ICC Alumni Affairs and Foundation broadcast booth. Find out how you can contribute to Itawamba Community College by visiting iccms.edu/foundation. This is Carson O'Daniel with it now. Sends it out wide to White. White sends it inside looking for O'Daniel. Sends the header back. Ball is loose on the pitch, and Gulf Coast clears it out. White able to get to it, though, that time. Tries to send it ahead to Clayton O'Daniel, and quickly the Bulldogs take it away. ICC there to take it back at midfield. And, CJ, now you're starting to see the Bulldogs packing in a little bit more with 17 minutes left.
Well, and they're in a position they can do that.
Yep. And a foul's going to be called here on the Bulldogs. And now they're going to ask the clock to stop, and some of the ICC players upset that the Gulf Coast player cleared it down the pitch. And this center judge, referee again, is going to have to come out and let everybody know he's here and talk to him. And I'm not pointing it out in favor of ICC or anything, but he does that to both teams. And it's one of those situations, my guy. This is two teams in the quarterfinal of the conference tournament. Let them play. You don't have to talk to them like they're 8-year-olds every time there's a play made. And now they are going to issue a yellow card in this situation for the ball sent down the pitch. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. Because the whistle was blown as he was in the process of clearing the ball out.
My problem with that is if you're going to give that yellow, give it immediately.
Yeah.
Don't wait that long.
Yeah. And it wasn't well after the whistle. The referee's explaining to the Gulf Coast coach, and that's not the case. Yeah, it's one of those you got to let go right there if you're the referee. Sorry, ICC fans. I'm siding with Gulf Coast on that one, but if you're in a conference tournament like this, that's just...
Well, at the end of the day, they stop the clock.
Yeah.
You're not really losing anything for it.
Right. So ICC looking to put it back in play and trying to go back post with it, and that's going to be cleared out by the Bulldogs, and the Indians get to it now. This is going to be Clayton O'Daniel. O'Daniel sending it inside and just a little bit too tall. Trying to find his brother Carson that time, and again, the Bulldogs take away the angle of attack on that back line, and substitution back into the match here. This is going to be Caden Mitchell. Checking out is going to be Garrett Mills for the Indians. Looks like they're going to quickly get Luke Mills back into the contest, or the Bulldogs, who was just sent out on that questionable yellow card. 16 minutes remaining. Still a lot of time left in this one. The Indians have had some opportunities, but the Bulldogs defense has taken it away each time. Now here come the Bulldogs on the attack on the other end. It was 3 Indians versus 1 Bulldog, and the Indians take it back. Now ICC with it. This is Rodriguez on the far side of the pitch, trying to squeeze this one ahead to Nichols. Nichols going out wide on the left wing. Want to work 1v1. Gets by the defender, but a good help defense to clear it out that time. And that's what we talked about, CJ. Every time you get that 1v1 opportunity, there's always somebody trailing or always somebody quickly coming in for the Bulldogs to help out defensively.
They've done a great job all afternoon closing down those lanes and getting where they need to go.
So ICC going to throw it in on the side and just throws it out of bounds. Like a little bit of miscommunication between the Indians that time as they ran into each other. And just a miscue there, unforced error, and the ball goes back to the Bulldogs. And the Bulldogs wisely taking their time here, working some of that clock. Part of the gamesmanship of soccer. You do it as long as you can until the referee makes you put it in play. As long as you don't purposely seem like you're trying to stall the game, even though you're purposely trying to stall the game. Now here come the Bulldogs. Sending this one out wide left side. Opportunity here for Gulf Coast. Thomas with it. Going to dribble it back out. Wait for some of his teammates to get to him now. Marquez hawking him defensively. Now sends it over the middle, left side. Ball's going to be trying to be cleared out there, and now it's going to be cleared back, and Gulf Coast will control. Bulldogs let it settle. Marquez Takes it away, but there's the Bulldogs to take it back.
Yeah, that's going to be a card. I think he pulled him down there.
So a yellow card issued there to number 4 of Gulf Coast, and Travis just reached out and pulled him to the turf, and the Gulf Coast coach is wanting an explanation of that.
If he's not careful, this is going to get out of hand.
Yeah, and we've seen this same center judge or center referee, whatever the terminology is in soccer, call a few matches here before, and those matches do tend to lose control of those late in the match. Again, it's just because he likes to talk a little bit too much to the players and the coaches and lets everybody know he's here, and then that frustration set in whenever there starts to get questionable calls late in the match, and it's followed soon again today. Gulf Coast with it, though. They lead it 1-0. Indians trying to pick up the pressure defensively. Now Gulf Coast on the attack, trying to see if they can pick up an insurance goal here across the middle. Now it settles. Ooh, nice quick pass back over the middle, but there's the Indians to take it away.
Well, still just does not look like they're communicating at all out there.
Not at all. So ICC with it. 13:43 left to play in the contest. Still a lot of time to play. Indians, however, need to hurry up and find that equalizer. And a phantom fall there. And again, the referee having words to say to
stop it.
Some of the Gulf Coast players in an injury timeout on the pitch. Let's take it with them here from Cagle Eye Center and be back with more right after this.
The longer a person has diabetes, the more likely they are to develop diabetic retinopathy. If left untreated, diabetic retinopathy can lead to blindness. That's why it's important for diabetics to have a comprehensive eye examination with dilation once a year. I'm Dr. Laurie Cagle of Cagle Eye Center in Fulton. We offer comprehensive eye exams to provide diagnosis and treatment of various eye diseases. Browse our large selection of frames available in prescription and non-prescription. Call to schedule your appointment today at Cagle Eye Center in Fulton.
And welcome back to action. Good to see number 8, Ichima, popping up and walking off the pitch here for the Bulldogs. 1-0 is the score, 13-19. Or excuse me, 13-19. Man, that'd be a wild soccer match if it was 13-19. But 13-19 left in the contest. CJ, we talked about this during that commercial break. The referee was still
jawing a little
bit off with some of the players on the pitch, even during the injury. You just can't do that as a referee on this level. Botts comes up, makes the play, and able to come back and find it that time. Ooh, lucky break there for the Indians. Almost a big-time break for the Bulldogs. Now here comes ICC trying to get on the attack.
Good ball.
Rodriguez pressing it up the field now. Has to come back and get it. Great job by the Bulldogs, forcing him once again to turn his back to the goal and force him to reset. Now flips the side of the pitch. Marquez with it, drops it back to Mitchell. Mitchell going to skip it across, and that's going to be White with the ball now. White sends it. Looking back post, broken up nicely that time by the Bulldogs. And Carson O'Daniel comes in and takes it away and now leaves it back to Mitchell. Good hustle on the part of O'Daniel to get the ball back for the Indians.
Yeah, he's covered a lot of ground today as well. Every time I've looked up, he's had plays on the ball.
This ball sent ahead, trying to find Marquez with it, and it's going to be sent out of bounds that time by Luke Mills. Again, the Bulldogs just in the right spots at the right times each time to come up and make the plays. That one taken away by the Bulldogs. Send it up the pitch. Mitchell is going to get it and now send it out wide to White. White's going to have to hurry up and get to it. He does. This is Clayton O'Daniel with it and quickly surrounded by a couple of Bulldogs, and the Bulldogs get it back. Got to value each possession when you have it right now if you're the Indians.
Yeah, time clicking down. We're not going to get too many chances.
Each possession a valuable one here. 11.5 to play in the contest. Gulf Coast continues to lead 1-0. Rodriguez wants to work 1v1, weaving through a couple of defenders. Now gets it ahead to Carter Chandler, but again, the Bulldogs right there And CJ, a large part of that is, yes, they're sagging back defensively, but even when they weren't sagging back defensively or filling up the box earlier in the match, they've just been there all day today defensively, making it tough for the Indians.
They have. And that's the difference in this game.
This is Nichols with it now, leaves it out wide. Thought about trying to send this one ahead from distance and nothing there. Almost a little bit of a frustration. And wow, no call on that. Gulf Coast coaches and players upset. We've seen the calls.
That was a handball.
That's
right
a handball, yep. And we've seen a lot of contact, less than that called fouls today than it was called earlier. Handball was called, and again, the referee having something to say to the Gulf Coast player, and now the Gulf Coast coach. And we're getting some substitutions here for the Indians. Into the match here for ICC is going to be number 5, Cade Knight. And they will send in a substitution here for Gulf Coast. Ichima, who was shaken up earlier, will be back in the contest here for the Bulldogs. 9:55 and counting. Gulf Coast with the ball at midfield. They lead it 1-0 here in the quarterfinal matchup between ICC and Gulf Coast. Trying to send this one out wide, and it's going to be out of bounds. And it should be a goal kick coming up here for the Indians. All right, CJ, 9.5 minutes to play. The Indians got to find something here, and it's going to have to start with the intensity. You've got to pick up the want to right now if you're ICC.
Absolutely. You've got 9 minutes left in your season if you don't make something happen. So you got to leave it all out on that field right now.
Peyton Phillips into the match now here for the Bulldogs. This substitution being brought to you by the ICC Baptist Student Union. They meet Monday nights at 7:07. Wednesdays at lunch. They had the luncheon today. $2 and a friend is all they ask you bring. And then don't forget $2 for your friend as well. That's the ICC BSU luncheon. Make sure they got them out in enough time today for today's matches. Brother Chris is here supporting the Indians this afternoon. And ball is going to be out of bounds, and it go back to Gulf Coast. 8:45 and counting. 1-0 the score. Indians trail the Bulldogs.
I believe he called a foul before it went out.
Okay, so they called a foul on ICC. And right now, if you're the Bulldogs, it's 8.5 left. Can't tick off the clock quick enough here. Bulldogs doing what you're supposed to in this situation. Taking your time. Trying to eat up as much clock as possible here. This one's sent ahead and will be easily scooped up that time by Box. Coming up on 8 minutes to play. Indians trail it 1-0. And that one sent outbound. Just a bad touch again by the Indians. And CJ, I think right now, not necessarily hitting the panic button, but your fingers on it. And maybe some of that pressure and starting to build up a little bit on the Indians here.
Yeah, you're definitely hovering over that panic button. But take a deep breath. Drive it down. Hope something good happens.
The referee called for him to stop the clock. As the Bulldogs taking a little bit too much time to get it in. Now here comes Gulf Coast. Bulldogs on the attack here, leading it 1-0. Indians have got to pick up some intensity here defensively, try to get the ball back, see if they might be able to get something in transition. Ball being danced around, and it's going to be sent out of bounds to be a throw-in on the far side of the pitch here for the Bulldogs. 7:13 to play here. Gulf Coast again taking a lot of time, as you're supposed to in this situation, to get the ball set to throw in. There's a fan that walks in front of the play there. Throws this one in. Ball bouncing around, and Gulf Coast gets it, or excuse me, ICC gets it. It would have been a good opportunity there. Rodriguez was calling for the ball at midfield. Box just couldn't quite get it out to him as ICC was trying to get out in transition.
Well, you'd like to see a little more hustle there, too.
Yep, and a little bit better touch by the part of the Indians, too, as that one just sent out of bounds, and nobody even near the ball that time for ICC. And that's kind of been the case today, CJ. The passing hasn't been crisp today for ICC. And
not at all.
Mad scramble for the ball and a foul on ICC. And that continues to be the case here late in the contest. 6:15 left to play. So free kick coming up here for the Bulldogs. They lead at 1-0. 6 minutes and 3 seconds to go in the contest. And this one deflected off the head, and Diego's going to clear it back out. Gulf Coast, though, gets it. Turns around on the attack, sends it on the inside. Opportunity here for the Bulldogs over the middle. Sends it and saved, though, by Box.
Excellent save.
Big time play there for the Indians. ICC trying to rush it down the pitch to see if they can take advantage of the transition situation there, but the Bulldogs were there to take it away. Substitution coming into the match here for ICC. This is going to be number 11, Carson O'Daniel, into the contest. 5:25 to play. Gulf Coast going to re-enter Griffin Bush here. He's the player with the lone goal of the day. So any more substitutions by Gulf Coast inside 5 minutes will call for a stoppage here, so you don't imagine Gulf Coast will try to substitute very often down the stretch. That ball thrown down the pitch. Gulf Coast clears it out nicely. And ICC lets it control. Now wants to send this one over the top. There's O'Daniel with it. O'Daniel lets it settle. Now turns, trying to get it inside. He's tackled inside the box. No call. And, just a tough break there for the Indians. Swing and a miss that time. And ICC, CJ, a great opportunity there. Indian fans going to think they earned a PK but not get it. And that ball's going to be out of bounds.
There was a lot of contact inside that box, but you still don't want to leave it up to the official.
Especially the one in the middle we got today. Not saying that he's favoring either one side in the contest, just saying he hasn't been.
Yeah, he's definitely not. I don't think he's favoring either side.
No, he just hasn't been. Or as Steve Diffie likes to say, he's been consistently inconsistent today. Well, the Indians with another golden opportunity, they come up empty. Now they've got to dig deep, see if they can find a way to rally here. Now here come the Bulldogs with a chance on the other end.
Nobody's marking him.
This is Bush with it, sends it over the middle, and there's Mitchell to take it away.
We got away with them. They had a player wide open in front of the net.
Now ICC trying to get out in transition. Looking for the equalizer here, but the Bulldogs break it up nicely. 3:50 to play in the contest. 3:50 left in the season here for the Indians. Rodriguez with it now. Ball bounces away from him. He's going to have to track it back now. Sends it over the middle, but then simply just taken away by the Bulldogs. Clear it back and force the Indians to reset. Mitchell with it. Mitchell wants to send this one ahead to Clayton O'Daniel. O'Daniel trying to find his way with the ball now. Dribbles towards the middle of the pitch, leaves it off to Carson. Carson gets it now, and then the ball just runs away from him. The ball wanted nothing to do with the Indians that time, and now here come the Bulldogs.
They got numbers.
2v1 opportunity here. Leave it over the middle.
Open.
A chance to put it away here if you're the Bulldogs. Sends it, and that's in. And that could do it right there as the Bulldogs now take a 2-0 advantage. Let's take a look at that on the Little Caesars instant replay there. And that was just one of those situations. The Indians having everyone on the attack, being aggressive on the offensive end, just couldn't get back defensively quick enough. With 3:07 left in the contest, Gulf Coast goes up 2-0. And CJ, this was tough to find one to tie it up, and now Gulf Coast with that insurance goal.
Yeah.
You got to think this one's being close to being wrapped up in blue and gold.
Absolutely. And you're right. We had so many pressing forward trying to attack, and that happens so many times. You just get caught. Not enough defenders, and then give them credit. They were quick to attack, had the numbers, and made a good shot and put it away.
So 2-0 now is the score for the Indians. You've got to score and score in a hurry here. And they're going to say it's deflected by Gulf Coast, and it'll be a throw in here for the Indians. ICC quickly throws it in. This is going to be O'Daniel with it. O'Daniel's looking to go to work. Fires left-footed, and just tall. Oh, CJ, that could have been huge there for the Indians if they would have been able to find a way to sneak that one home. You like the aggressiveness out of O'Daniel, but just couldn't quite get that one to find its way in top shelf. 2.5 minutes left. Do the Indians have a miracle up their sleeve this afternoon? They trail at 2-0. Gulf Coast has just been lights out today defensively.
Oh, gosh.
And now trouble here. Griffin gets it. Going to have to hurry, and Helms is there.
Man.
What a play by Helms. And CJ, really and truly, that kind of sums up the day it's been for the Indians, as that one nearly finds its way home, and Helms clears it out. But 2 minutes to play, CJ, that one almost the perfect tell of the tape today.
He was fortunate to be able to get back and clear that out, because that's, again, just not good communication between your goalie and your defender there. Ball gets by, and I believe it was 14. Made a good effort to put it in.
I have to change my score here. I had it 1-1, but it is 2-0 in favor of Gulf Coast. 1:49 to play. That's got to be.
I believe that was a hand.
And the referee
ain't
saying,
calling anything.
Wow, how do you not call anything? Either a foul on ICC or a handball on Gulf Coast. And that guy's ready to go home.
Well, I imagine he's still got one more to go today.
And then that's going to be a foul on the Indians there with 1:27 left to play. Well, those are the type plays you got to call this late in a match like this, because frustrations are going to be high, and you got to keep this thing in control if you're the referees. And
well, the players were almost stunned. Everybody just stopped.
Everybody stopped because they thought it was either a foul on ICC, and then after that they thought it was a handball. So now Gulf Coast will step into this one. It's off the post, and whoa, what a play! Wow, that might be one of the biggest plays of the year.
Fantastic save.
An amazing hustle on the part of Alex Box, and that's what we talked about, folks. You're going to let stuff like that get away, and that's on the referees for letting this match get out of control. There's a red coming out.
Yeah, I believe he's got a red
yellow
card in his
coming
hand.
out. And there is a red that has been issued here, and again, now you're starting to see mouthing going on between players right now, between ICC and Gulf Coast. Now a little bit of pushing and shoving going on. And again, this is on the referees for letting it get here, folks. As they're trying to break this thing up, still a lot going on right now. The referees trying to get them separated here with 41.9 seconds left in the match. And CJ, we said it, and we've been saying it for the last 3 or 4 minutes, that the referees did not get this match under control. Something like this was going to happen, and it surely did. And the referees going to have to talk this one over here. There was a red card issued to a player for Gulf Coast.
Coach Ball's out on the field now.
Yeah, and Coach Ball, I'm going to tell you what.
She'll handle it.
She will handle this for sure. One of the, if not the best ADs in the country. And I'm sorry, if I see Coach Ball coming on the field, if I'm a player,
I'm backing up.
I'm running. And
So
the referees are still letting these guys mouth back and forth right now.
I believe O'Daniel got a red as well.
Well, they're giving a red card to Clayton O'Daniel. Looks like they're giving another. And see, again,
they're still letting it.
Yeah, they're still letting these players go back and forth. If anything, you say you get on your side of the pitch, you get on the other side of the pitch. Well, if they give O'Daniel a red, they've got to give one of the kids from Gulf Coast a red as well, do they not?
Did. 18 got a yellow and a red.
So 18
to begin that.
Yeah, so 18, he's done. Looks like Clayton O'Daniel is done as well.
And what does that do for him? Does he have to miss the next match?
I believe so.
I think so too.
I believe so.
And you hate to see that.
You do.
Just because of the official not really not doing his job and calling the game in a stricter manner to keep it under control.
And you do hate that. You know, obviously looks like Gulf Coast is going to go ahead and win this match, and you hate that for Gulf Coast because they're not going to have a fully loaded deck for their next match as they advance here. But right now, if you're both these teams finish this thing clean with 28 seconds left to play. And you got a player from Gulf Coast mouthing over here towards the ICC bench. So Coach Sullivan coming to step between him and the ICC players. And you just want this final 9 seconds to run off the clock and let this thing go final. You hate to see such a hard-fought, great match have it finish like this afternoon, in a large part because the referees just let it get out of control. Your final score, 2-0, Gulf Coast with the win. Congratulations to the Bulldogs as they'll advance to Saturday's semifinals. And good sign of sportsmanship as hands are being shaken on the pitch right now. And CJ, just a tough way for a really good season to end here for the Indians.
It is. You don't ever want to see it. Really, you never want to see your team lose.
Right.
But take the positives. No coach will have a lot to remember from this season, and use it moving forward for next year.
Well, for Alex Box, Garrett Mills, Cade Knight, Cameron Kane, Brian Huckabee, Peyton Avery, Josh White, Clayton O'Daniel, Carter Chandler, Diego Trujillo, and Weston Mitchell all playing their final match today, and the season coming up to a shorter end than they had hoped. But CJ, you know, a lot of these young men have more matches for them in the future, and
Absolutely.
we wish them the best of luck going forward for our sophomores as they wrap up their careers here at ICC. Well,
Yeah, and like you said, most of them, they'll play at other schools going forward. So you just hope that they take a lot away from their experience here at ICC and go on to make us proud down the road.
For the Bulldogs, they improved to 12-6 on the year. For ICC, they fall to 10-5. And we do wish the Bulldogs best of luck in Saturday's semifinal match at Hines. That's going to do it for our men's matchup today. We're going to take a brief break and be back in about 10 minutes with the women's match here on the Red Channel. Indians fall 2-0 to Gulf Coast. Back with more right after this.
Ever since you got that license, you haven't stopped moving forward. Now that you're older and on the move, you need a safer place to keep your money. We get it. A student checking account frees you up with things like mobile check deposit to take care of that check from grandma without having to stop at a bank. Pay with your phone when you're out with friends. And stop worrying about ATM fees. We'll pay you back for those. Worry about your future, not your money. And know that we'll stick with you wherever you go. Renaissance Bank, understanding you. Member FDIC. Ever since you got that license, you haven't stopped moving forward. Now that you're old,